Hello, everybody. My name is Mr. Starchman, and I want to get to know who you are. I don't know most of you because you are freshmen, and I've never taught you before. Sometimes I may have you in drama as a sophomore, a junior, or a senior, but as freshmen, we're pretty much all new to each other unless I may have taught one of your siblings or even one of your parents. Yes, I am that old. So I'm going to share a slideshow with you called Who Are You that I made. And then I'm going to give you a template and have you finish your own where you will tell me about yourself. So this slide will get deleted by the time that you are done. This is just the starting point so that your first slide will look like this. First question I'm going to ask is, what is your name? What does it mean? And I have a link up here that you can go to, names.org. There are some advertisements on it, so I apologize for that, but it's a pretty good place to start. But you can also just Google, what does your name mean? What does Michael mean? What does Jessica mean? I Googled, what does Brian mean? Brian means noble and courageous. According to names.org, there are 383,000 people who have been named Brian in the United States since they started keeping records in 1880. But I want you guys to call me Mr. Starchman, so I looked up Starchman as well. And I've done some research on this in the past, and Starchman is a rare name. Less than 100 people in the United States have the last name Starchman. We're pretty sure they got changed at Ellis Island when immigrants came over from Germany, so my family thinks it is German and might come from Stockman, which means to be stubborn. And this is a picture of me last year, and that's the headshot I use for a lot of my different books. Second question I'm going to ask you is, what is your favorite subject and why? I know it will be tempting to write down lunch, but I'd like you to give me a subject that you've enjoyed in the past, or maybe something you think that you're looking forward to, like if you've never had drama and you're taking drama with me. My favorite subject is English, especially creative, or specifically, I should say, creative writing. I write every single day, even if it's just a journal entry about why I don't feel like writing. I've always expressed myself through my writing. You can check out my published plays at highstage.com, Brian Starchman. I also love drama. I have taught both English and drama since I became a teacher, and this is my 20th year of teaching. And this here is my best-selling play, Just Another High School Play. Third slide, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. You just have to answer one. You can tell me about your most embarrassing moment, or the scariest thing that has happened to you, or the best thing that has happened to you. I don't know if it was the scariest thing ever, but a scary thing that happened to me was when I visited Japan. I was only 25, and this was before smartphones. Yes, I'm old. And I left the hotel in Kyoto on my own to go exploring. Unfortunately, I didn't know the name of the hotel, and I got lost. Most people did not speak English, but I met some cool punk rock kids outside of 7-Eleven, and they were able to understand my description of the hotel well enough. They interpreted my description to a taxi driver, and somehow I made it back. Now I always take a picture of the hotel before I go wandering in foreign countries. And this is a picture to show you of Kyoto and just how large the city is. I wasn't here in the parks. I was way out there in the middle of the city streets. 1.4 million people, a little bigger than Mariposa. My fourth one is, what have you been up to since distance learning started? And that was back on Friday the 13th if you were going to Mariposa schools. I had been on sabbatical since January. Sabbatical you can take every 7 years, and it's where a teacher might work on a master's degree or a project. And so I took the semester off, and I was supposed to drive all 50 states and write a book about America in 2020. I got through 7 states before I had to turn back due to COVID-19. Since then, I've been living in San Francisco with my partner, Geraldine. I decided I didn't want to waste my sabbatical, so I wrote a book about traveling during COVID-19, a textbook, a novella, and 2 plays. I also played way too much Nintendo Switch and completed every shrine in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. There are 120. I've got a little video here that you can click on to watch, and this is some of the video of my California trip before I headed east. I got as far as Louisiana, and then I turned back around just about the time school closed because everything was closing. My new book, United Scenes of America, is on Amazon.com, and if you get the Mariposa Gazette, you may have seen that I wrote 20 different articles, and those articles make up the majority of the book. I made this textbook, Drama from a Distance, about teaching drama online, and some of you guys will get to do some of those projects with me if you have me for drama. And I wrote 2 versions of this play called Stuck at Home. It's a play that's meant to be performed on Zoom. Lastly, your favorites. Your favorite band, ice cream, food, movie, TV show, or book. If you don't have a favorite, tell me one you really like. My band was a tie, the Beatles and NoFX. Ice cream, anything with peanut butter in it. My favorite foods are uni, that's raw sea urchin, and fried chicken, but usually not together. Favorite TV show, I grew up on The Simpsons. And finally, Travels with Charlie is my favorite book by John Steinbeck. This is the book that inspired me to write my book and to go on my road trip. So now that you see my slideshow, I'm going to have you go ahead and create your own. And that's going to look like this. You'll get a copy of this in Canvas. Who are you? You can delete this slide when you're done. And then please fill out all 5 slides. I've given you a place to type your answers and then also to put some graphics in from the internet. As always, please remember that you need to make sure that all of your graphics are appropriate and that all of your language is appropriate. Keep everything school appropriate. If you did something illegal during the break, don't tell me about it because I don't want to have to turn you in. Keep everything PG. Imagine that I'm reading it, your parents are reading it, the principal and vice principal are reading it. It should be appropriate for my English 9 class. I hope that this has helped. Please email me if you have any questions.